Then you have, I repeat, in section A, we have the first set that are plays. So you're supposed to choose one play from those two, either The Return of Mugofu or Merchant of Venice. That is section A. Section A part 2, which is the novel, you're to choose between The Pearl and Grief Child. Those are the two books. Those are novels. The first ones are plays, The Return of Mugofu and The Merchant of Venice, or Venice, by William Shakespeare. The first one is by Francis Mbuga. Then you choose the novel, either The Pearl or Grief Child.
Yes, Teacher Lurry.
Yes, sir.
My power has gone and my battery is low.
Mm.
Should I make you host such that you take control?
That is very okay.
Will you manage the class?
Yes, sir. These are few. I will manage them.
Okay, just in case. You are now the host. So in case the lesson ends, you go to leave and then end meeting for all.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome. Right. So I was still telling us, so you have to choose between The Pearl by John Steinbeck or Grief Child by Lawrence Damani. So that is section A part 2. So you either choose a novel or a play. Preferably, I encourage us students to choose a play. A play is simpler to master for section A in terms of extracts. But I'm just saying preferably. I've not told you it is a must. Don't go back to your teacher and say, but our teacher told us. No, I've told you it is easier to master a play. But if you've mastered your novel as well, for example, The Grief Child, you're good to go. Section B, you have 5 books. The Heart Soothers by Sylvester Onzivua. Voice of the People by Okia Mtata Okoiti. Shadows of Time by Victor Byaramazima. I hope I've not worded there. Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. And Mema by Daniel Mengara. So those are the books that you're going to choose from. Now, it is not very possible for me to dictate. It is your school to dictate for you which books you're going to choose in section A. So, for example, for us in my school, we have Merchant of Venice and Grief Child for section A. And then down here, we have The Heart Soothers and The Voice of the People for section B. And then poetry section, we use Growing Up with Poetry. That is what we do in our school. But different schools do different books. I am not discouraging us. However, I am only going to say, for those who have an idea, in section B, if you do any of these books, I'm going to mention the book. I'm going to ask us to raise up our hands. I want to make sure, right now we are 23. I'll make sure that I look 24 now, they are increasing. If you do the Heart Soothers, or if your teacher has told you you're going to do Heart Soothers, please put up your hand. The Heart Soothers, put up your hand. If you've heard your teacher say this is part of the book we're going to do, or these are in the syllabus for you in our school. I've seen only 2 hands, Noreen and Lois. You can put down your hands. How people are understanding English? I'm speaking English. Lois, I don't know. Lois, where are you? Could you put up your hand again? Okay, Lois, I wanted unmute. Unmute, Lois. Do you know how
Yes,
to
sir.
unmute? Go ahead. Which other book did the teacher tell you you're going to do apart from the Heart Soothers? In section B, these are the books. The Heart Soothers, Voice of the People,
That-
Shadows. Pardon? I'm asking you.
We have done Heart.
Good.
Yes.
Heart Soothers, which one?
I'm going to, Grief Child.
No, Grief Child is in section
We
A.
have so far. Okay.
Have you looked at Voice
Shadows
of the
of
People?
No,
Shadows of
that
Time?
one not it. Yeah, yes.
Okay, so that means those are
Shadows
the two
of
books.
Heart Soothers.
Okay, so that means for you, that is all for section B. You will not choose any other book because that means the teacher has to now choose between Merchant of Venice or Return of Mogofu. Next person.
Okay.
Okay, I want to have an understanding into my class. Any other people who have done Voice of the People by show of hands? Please, by show of hands, those who have done Voice of the People. Lean. Any other people who have done Voice of the People? Which books have you done? Jasper, or Casper rather. Let me pick Casper. Casper. Casper.
Teacher.
Yes. Which book have you done?
Friends,
Or which books?
Friends, we have not done something, but we're still doing it.
Which one?
We are doing Merchant and Mema.
Merchant and Mema.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I am going to do, because today, let me share my screen so that we have an understanding of what I'm trying to tell us. Today, I want us to be able to share characterization, the adjectives we must use to describe character traits. English literature lesson 2 is here. Today I'm interested. So all of us, basing on our main characters, I'll be able to pick on those main characters in different books. I want us to share, how do we characterize? What is characterization? What do we mean by characterization? And how do we characterize? And then we pick on our main characters. This is our topic for today. I hope you can be able to see my screen. If you're able to see my screen, you can just let me know by show of hands, or you can send a message on my chat that you're seeing my screen. Okay. Okay, it seems my screen. All right, thank you. So today I want to look at character analysis. And under character analysis, we have character and characterization. You know, there's so many questions under that, but today I'm interested in character traits. That is what I'm interested in today. And a guiding question is here: discuss the character traits of the major characters in the novel or play you have covered in your study in S3. This is very important because this helps us to learn how to appreciate different characters and which kind of words can we use to describe, which kind of adjectives can we use to describe different characters. So that's what I'm interested in today. So with the different books you have made, then I'm also interested in teaching you, how do you build an essay? Those are things that I'm also under characterization strictly, or under character traits. That is what I'm interested in today. So for those who have done Voice of the People, you're lucky. I have, so these are the sample books we wanted to use today, but I realized that we might not exclude other people. Even those who have done Grief Child, I will use all of us generally all round, but then we must harmonize on a certain book. So today I'm interested in the main characters. So we shall at least pick on each book, we shall pick one main character, for us to be able to break down. So for me today, I'll use the Heart Soothers, Voice of the People, majorly Voice of the People, and then Things Fall Apart is also another beautiful book we shall use. I will not neglect the others in section A because I realize that we are not yet uniform. If we're in Form 4, if we are in Senior 4 by now, we would have at least had a uniform base, but here every school picked on a book and started with it. So let us start by appreciating that character and characterization. How do we characterize? Or what do we mean by characterization? That is where I want us to start our discussion from. By show of hands, when they talk about character and characterization, who can come and throw light? Who can come and make sense of those two statements, character and characterization? That's what I want today to hear from us. Joshua, in a literature class, I don't know how to wait for people to put up their hands. So I'm going to be able to pick on you. You tell us what you know, and then we build on that. Simwe Daniel?
Yes, I think character is a person taking part, like in a play or novel. Then characterization are his or her characteristics.
Characteristics, more of biology now or chemistry?
Okay.
Okay, what do you mean by characteristics? I want very simple language which does not disturb some of us who did not go to chemistry class. Yes, Liam.
Yes. Character is a person in the play or the novel, someone or anyone. And then characterization is the behavior of a person.
Okay, good. Now, when I tell Liam that if I set a question like discuss the character of Liam, what do you expect? What are those? What should we give in such a question? Discuss the character of Liam.
I think you look at my life and you look at my behavior. If I'm a bad person and maybe I'm arrogant, you say Liam is arrogant. Then you describe how he's arrogant and you give examples of when I'm arrogant. Or you can say Liam is selfish, then you say he doesn't, then you give examples of when Liam is selfish, when he doesn't share things with his friends. Yeah.
Why do you only have negative traits about yourself?
Yeah, okay, maybe also the positive ones.
Hey, that is it.
You can say
market yourself.
Liam is
Yeah, you're supposed to
caring,
market yourself. Yes.
Okay. You can say Liam is caring. Maybe he shares stuff with his friends. You can also say he's a hardworking person. He reads a lot. He's always the first in class. Like his best marks are 80. You can also say
Liam, you're going to pay for that advert. That is a lot of advertising. Thank you. That's a good one. It's all right, Liam. I appreciate. Okay, that is good. So we are trying to draw a line between character and characterization. However, most times when I tell you to analyze the character of so and so, you're supposed to look at that person's character traits, be able to tell us what that person is, how they behave. Most times when you look at character traits, we are looking at the behavior, how that person reacts and responds to situations around him. So that's what I want us to do today with all our main characters in the book. So we're supposed to draw those, we're supposed to pick different characters in the different books we have looked at, and then we'll be able to share. I'm going to give you a guide on how I think it should be done, and then I open the discussion to all of us. So for me, I said an essay under character and characterization must be in such a way that it must have an introduction. I have a sample introduction, then write out a body in indented paragraphs. I also have that, and then must conclude. I also will read for you my conclusion. So that's what I want us to do today. So in the different books you have done, I want us to be able to pick out your main characters in the books that you have done so far. All of us where we are, pick a pen and paper organize, pick out your main character, or at least, yes, at least one or two. Then you pick out his most outstanding character traits, and then we develop them together as a class. Regardless, even if we have not done that book, for you, you have done it. I have my guide here that will help me. I will be able to understand them. I've read most of the books. So all I want us to do today is to learn how to handle questions rotating around character, particularly character traits. So I have my sample question here. I'm using voice of the people, and I'm using the main characters. And my main character is Nasirombi. So my introduction would look like this. This is an introduction written in an indented paragraph. Do you see this? That's what we call an indented paragraph. You leave space. Let me even use my attonation. Some people wonder, what do you mean? This is what I mean, this space here. Do you see this space? This space I have left before the margin. This is the space I am talking about. That is what we call indenting. You leave space from the margin. So what would I say about her? What would I say about Nasirombi? Those who have done this book. By show of hands, who has done this book? By show of hands, so that I work with you. You put up your hand. Okay, Lynn, apart from Lynn. It seems some people just fear. Lynn, you will unmute. Lynn, put up your hand again. I want us to work together so that you're able to coordinate, especially for those who are not here. Lynn, could you raise up your hand again? I want you to unmute. Okay, you may unmute. You there? Look for good network so that we coordinate. So for me, I'm going to be mentioning some of these things, and then maybe I will ask you also to contribute other things that are related to the introduction. So for me, I say that she is general knowledge. In the book, she's a teacher.
Okay.
She's a professional teacher, a civil activist who rises to challenge the establishment of a resort on the Simbi Forest land. She does this through a group of women called the Mothers Front. She is portrayed positively with admirable qualities as presented below. Now, that is my introduction. That introduction has qualities of who she is generally. What have I decided to use? For example, when I say she is a professional teacher, I have decided to introduce her using what? Her job, who she is, or what kind of job she does. She is a teacher. So I want you also to ask yourself in your book, what does your main character do in terms of profession, in terms of jobs? That is the first thing. What does your character do? Or what does your main character, what is his exact job? What did he study to become? Or what job is he assigned by the author in your book? That's what I want you to be able to tell me. The second thing you can use to introduce a character is character relationships. Maybe I haven't, let me complete the one for profession. That she's a teacher, that is by profession, and a civil activist. This can also be a profession, but here now we shall take it as a role, what she does. What do we mean by civil activist? Lynn, work together. Lynn, where are you? Lynn? You've run away? Okay, Lynn is back. What do we mean by civil activist? Lynn here, can you throw more light there? Lynn, we're waiting on you.
Yeah, maybe it's my network, but I'll be back.
Okay. Civil activist here simply means she fights for the good of the society. Here she was fighting to retain the good or the nature of her society. For example, the forest. She did not want Simbi Forest to be destroyed. And definitely she does that so well. And we're able to appreciate how she does that. So you can tell us which other things does this person do can be part of your introduction. Then secondly, you can also tell us, introduce a character through what we call character relationships. For example, who does she work with? Or who is she to the other characters? For example, if you talk about in this book, Nasirombi, apart from Mother's Front, she also works closely with a young man called Ndondo. Apart from Mother's Front, she also works with Ndondo. So you can explain using our main character relationships. Now, someone has tried out Okonko. She says Okonko is a tragic hero in the classical sense, although he is the superior character. His tragic flaw equal the equation of manliness with rashness, anger, and violence, bringing out his own destruction. Now, this introduction, introduction best explains if the question was, what leads to Okonko's downfall? This is a very good introduction. Ernest, do you hear that? Hope Ernest is hearing me. That is a good introduction for what leads to Okonko's downfall. Introduce Okonko in line with, for example, you can tell us that Okonko is one of the main characters in, or is the main character in the novel Things Fall Apart. Or you can tell us that he is a son to, what is Okonko's father's name? Ernest. Where is Ernest? Any other person who did Things Fall Apart? Joshua, you can come and help us.
Okonko's father is called
Unoka. Yes, so you can tell us that he's a son to Unoka. So that's what we call character relationships. So the father-son relationship, you can have workmates and all that. So that is how you can be able to introduce. Now, only for the introduction. If you have a question within your introduction, please raise your hand and we share. If you have issues with introduction of characterization only or character traits, this is a chance you have. You raise your hand and you ask. Yes, Joshua.
Teacher, I have a question. Like, is there a specific what's it called? Is there a specific, let me say, number of words, or you just write as much as you can?
You do not write as much as you can because there is a lot you'd be able to mention. However, an introduction should not even go to a half a page. You should mention basics. For example, like I have done here, you can introduce someone by telling us the job he does or the role he plays in the book, and then his character relations. How does he relate with other characters? For example, does he have a mother? Does he have a sister? Is he married? Is he single? You know, so those are the things you can be able to. So you mention, like though you've seen here, in a few lines, mine are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm good to go. Not even a half a page. So don't overwrite. When you've grown up, I would even give you a tip or something to do with the introduction. But right now, I encourage you to write an introduction. An introduction gives us an highlight of what your essay must be. So make sure your introduction clearly tells us what the body of your essay is. For example, look at from here. Let me highlight that. Look at from around here. She is portrayed positively and with admirable qualities as presented below. But I've also been able to tell you who she is, that she is a teacher. She's a civil activist. She does this through, she works with different people in a group called Mothers Front. So that's what I have done in my introduction. So that is what we call a rich introduction that can be able to help to introduce us before we read your essay. So in short, an introduction of an essay is a summary of what the essay is going to be all about. So whenever you feel like your introduction does not talk about the body of the question, then you need to make it much, much better. I hope that makes sense. Joshua?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. I'm waiting for the next person. In case you have any question, I will be able to take them. You just raise your hand. I shall be able to take them. Straight away, let me dive into the body now. I'm done introducing. Now I want to write my first paragraph. What will my first paragraph look like? I hope we can all see what is here, a sample paragraph in essay writing. My first paragraph, Nasirumbi is a strong-willed woman and courageous woman. Or if you don't want repetition, you can simply say that Nasirumbi, here, you can simply say, you can cross this out and say, Nasirumbi is a strong-willed and courageous woman. Now, the character trait is here, a strong-willed. That is the character trait. What does it mean to be strong-willed? Maybe before I even go and explain my body, what does strong-will, when someone says that he's a strong-willed man, what does it mean? Yes, what do those adjectives mean? Albert, someone who can explain to us the meaning of strong-willed? Yes, Liam?
Yes, teacher. A strong-willed person is someone who sets an ambition and it's really big, but they're determined to succeed in it. Like they would do anything. They would, for example, if I want to pass my AC exams and that's my ambition, I would have sleepless nights while reading. Then I go to teachers consulting. I do a lot of exercises. I try to be attentive in class a lot. Yes, then that is being, yeah, I think that's being strong-willed.
Yes, and you see, for you, the word strong-willed here means that there are other obstacles to be overcome. Are we together? But you stick and say, no matter these obstacles, no matter the discouragement, you remain strong and determined. So that's what, now what I have done here, for example, let me underline it. I hope those others are seeing. From here, what I have done, the entire this up to here, that is what we call stating a point. I have not just said Nasirumbi is strong-willed and I put a full stop. I have been able, or some of you, now you just have this only. You'd only be able to say she is a strong-willed and you stop there. So I expect you to form a statement, a sentence like, that's what we call stating a point. Nasirumbi is a strong-willed and courageous woman, full stop. I have stated. Now I am going to explain. Now I am trying to make sense of the word strong-willed, this one. I want to try to make sense of strong-willed. What does it mean? That she approaches boss without any fear and puts to him hard questions. She straight away asks him to clearly make his stand known on the matter of Simbi Forest. Now we get to know that there she is tasking him. We all know how tough boss is. In this book, boss is a very tough man. who cannot be approached by any commoner. He has a second-hand man known as Sibo. That fellow usually handles most of his affairs, but Nasirumbi straight away goes to him and says, I want to know who you are. So now there you are explaining. In the last scene of the play at the stadium, she shocks everyone when she emerges as the long-awaited white woman with a dead body of a child. This is now the second example. So this is the first example. What I'm interested in here is that in explaining, most times for you people here in O level, you can be able to explain that you can explain her under strong will. You can tell us that she never lets down her guard, or she never gives up on her fight to save Simbi Forest, regardless of the obstacles she goes through. So you try to explain to us who this Nasirumbi is. You give us a statement that shows her trait. Then you explain and give an example. So that's what we call a good introduction. You could have another definition, another example. For example, I want us to look at another of Nasirumbi that depicted as an intelligent. You can say here in the novel. She is depicted as an intelligent woman. The character trait here is intelligent, but I have used a sentence to bring out the point. That's what we mean. Don't just say she is intelligent, or don't just say intelligent, full stop. Most of you have this very bad way. So you can see this point here that I'm on. Some of you say determined, then you put a full stop. My PC is blacking out. Okay. Sorry about that. My PC is disturbing. Let me log in using a phone, and then I get back to you. Okay, so I'm going to switch off my PC. The first person is going to be most likely going to be the host. I hope by then, why don't I hope by then someone can be able to make me the host so that I can share my screen. Okay.
Yes, sir. I've made teacher the host. So now what's next?
Thank you. Mr. Lurry? Mr. Lurry, are you there? You try to unmute now. You are now co-host. There is another person who is calling himself Teacher Lurry. I don't know whether it's the same you.
That person is confused.
Okay, so sorry for the disruption. Which lesson was going on?
Literature.
Okay, it's fine. We are going to get ready there. Let me try to unmute this one. We are going to resume.
Hello. I'm here now. Benjamin, I had even communicated to them that my PC is going to go off, and I told Benjamin to make the host. I knew he's the one who refused to make me a host. This fellow here.
It's
I
fine.
tried, but I think there is someone who has used it.
It's okay. So let's get back to what we're looking at. Allow me to share the screen.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I was still showing you that it is possible for us to build our essay the way I had displayed. So now I want all of us in the different books we have done, apart from just the ones that I have shown you here, pick your book, you tell us your book, and I've been telling you to write down at least an introduction and something small. That's what I would like us to now share with the rest. If you're there, please, you just put up your hand and you share with us. At least an introduction and a paragraph, a meaningful paragraph. Joshua?
Thank you, teacher. I hope everyone is hearing me.
Just a little audible.
Okay. I'm going to be presenting Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. There's an outstanding character called Okonkwo. He's almost the main character. And I just wrote the introduction of the characterization. So I said Okonkwo is one of the most outstanding characters in the novel Things Fall Apart. And he is one of the titled men in Umofia. And then I stopped there.
Okay. Don't you think you should have included in character relations? Because I remember I showed you mine. It had character relations, you know. You could add a little more, add character relations, and then you'll be able to give us that. Apart from the introduction, had you written a body, at least one number and 1 point? Let me take Liam.
Yes, teacher, my introduction, I'm doing Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. Okonkwo is an outstanding character in the novel Things Fall Apart. He is a leader and a farmer and a very rich man who lives in Umofia. He is a son to Unoka, and he is also a son to Unoka, full stop. And Okonkwo has both positive and negative character traits, and these include the following: semicolon.
Okay, it could be a semicolon, not just a full stop. That would be good enough. Thank you. You wanted to go to the body? At least read for us the first point and how you explain it.
Okay, I haven't written the body, but give me like 2 minutes. I'll raise my hand and the answer.
Okay, let's keep having at least introductions of different characters in different books. Then I will also read for you an introduction I think that befits Okonkwo. For example, I can introduce him and say, Okonkwo is a leader of the Igbo, is a leader in the Igbo community of Umofia and the protagonist in the novel Things Fall Apart. He's described as tall and huge with bushy eyebrows. So those are some of the things you can be able to tell us about Okonkwo. A man who does not tolerate laziness and weak people. You know, so all those are things you can be able to tell us about Okonkwo. Or you can tell us he's a father too, then you maybe tell us the most pronounced of his children, or you can tell us the most prominent trait about Okonkwo, you know, maybe the man who beat Amalenzi, the cat. Those are the pronounced things about Okonkwo that we can front. Any other participant? Lois?
Yes, sir.
Which book are you choosing?
I'm choosing Grief Child.
Grief Child, that is section A. Take us on.
Yes. So Grief Child, I'm taking a character called Adu.
Adu.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Adu. Yes. Adu is a protagonist in the novel Grief Child. He is an orphan. He suffered bitterness of life from the person who was supposed to be the person who was supposed to be her mother, and that is her aunt. His father, mother, and sister dies, and that's when he started to. That's when he starts.
What?
He starts enduring that suffering from his aunt, and he is determined. To. Well, he has a determined life. That is why he suffers the bitterness of life, and he endures with it and until the end. Yeah, that's my introduction.
I've seen you struggling there because you are saying so many things at a go. People who are showing me their faces, please mute your videos. Mute your videos.
Is it okay?
Your introduction.
Yeah.
Yes, however, you said so many things. Let us try, listen to this one.
Okay.
That is, he is the protagonist, just as you had said, the hero of the novel. He is a son to Nemo and Birago, a nephew to Goma. Those are the things you're struggling to mention. A brother to Ya and a friend to many characters, including his teacher Ofori and Becky Anan. By the end of the novel, he is a qualified teacher and married to Ama, his childhood friend. He is characterized by many episodes of grief, hence the title, Grief Child. What about that for an introduction?
It's okay.
But have you written it down?
May I go on and say the first paragraph of the body?
Or let's take first introductions, then we go to the body. Let us now hear at least another book from someone else. But you hold on there. I'll pick you to give us your body.
All right.
At least you'll give us one standing trait of that person. Mark Alvin.
Can I still do Things Fall Apart because it's the novel we have been doing?
It is okay.
I'm going to be presenting Okonkwo.
Definitely.
Okonkwo, the novel Things Fall Apart is widely based on Okonkwo's life, his success and his downfall. So Okonko, the son of the effeminate and lazy Unoka, strives to make his way in a world that seems to value manliness. In so doing, his father stood. Unoka was idle, poor, cowardly, and gentle, and interested in music and conversation.
Am I still waiting?
Who and becomes productive music and anything else that he yes.
You
Well
had
done.
disappeared there. You had disappeared, network.
Yeah, I think it's network.
Yeah, so I'm okay with your introduction. All you have to do is make sure you mention it. First of all, who is he in terms of character relations, but also in the book, who is he? Is he the protagonist? Then in being the protagonist, what are those outstanding things he has done? And then later on, you tell us character relations. Who is he related to? Who is his father? Who is his wife? And then later on, you can be able to usher us into his traits. Avoid speaking so much about the other people. You can just say, for example, like the way you said, the infamous Unoka, a son to the infamous Unoka, something like that. So you just slightly mention and then you go to the next, because your focus is on Okonko, not Unoka, his father. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. Let me pick the last person, then we go now and build our body. At least I need to hear someone mention 2 or things about the body. Liam, are we now to the body? Yes, Liam? Yes, Liam?
Teacher.
Yes.
Yes, I was going to try out an introduction for section A book, The Pearl.
It's okay. If you're going to do the Pearl.
Yes, Kino is a fisherman in, I don't remember the name of the village. Kino is a fisherman and he's a father to Koyotito and he's a husband to Joanna. And yes, and
do you see that? Literature is practice. Those small hiccups you're having shows something is missing.
Yes, teacher, let me try
It
again.
means you need to read.
I'll try again later.
Okay, thank you, but at least thank you for coming out to try. Let me take one, Lynn. Yes, Lynn.
I'm going to talk about the pearl.
Okay, please.
Kino is a young Mexican Indian pearl diver.
Okay, we're going to talk about Kino.
Yes. Kino is a young Mexican Indian pearl diver who finds the magnificent pearl and whose life is partially destroyed by this pearl. He is contented with his life until he found the pearl. I think that's the best thing I can talk about the pearl, about Kino in the pearl.
Okay, you could have also maybe added something else there and say that his discovery of the evil in the world around him leads him to lose his most precious objects, including his son.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you can have that. You can also tell your sisters to keep away from you when you are studying.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's go to the body. I think it was supposed to be Benjamin. Your hand is up. Benjamin has run away. Lynn. Now we're interested in the body. Can I take one? I think Liam, your hand is still up. Now I'm on the body. Those who are Okay, with the body, you can give us a sample in the body and then we edit.
Yes, teacher. I'm going to give an example on the book The Pearl, Kino. Yes. Kino is a very determined man. Yep. He manages to hold his breath for 2 minutes in search for the pearl without difficulty. Kino, in his pride and youth and strength, could remain down for over 2 minutes without straying underwater looking for the pearl. And this shows how determined he is. Yes.
Isn't that more of being brave and courageous? Okay, even determination, that he risks his life. If you talk about it, he risks his life underwater for that, the period of maybe 2 minutes. Are we together?
Yes.
So you're able to tell us that is what we call risking, but knowing that you will heal from it. So that can be your explanation.
Yes.
Okay. It is okay. You can give more than one example that shows is that is determined. Then we pick out the best example. You can don't only based on one example. Sometimes you can give like 2 examples. It is still very welcome. Asimwe Daniel.
Teacher, I'm going to talk about the pearl.
Okay.
Congo is a hardworking man. His family has never lacked yams. Although the season was he Chibie back his yam seeds.
But you're not talking about the pearl. That is things fall apart.
Yeah, I was fall apart.
Okay. Which character trait did you mention?
Okonko is hardworking.
Okay, Okonko is a hardworking man, or is portrayed as a hardworking man. So make sure that your first paragraph and the second paragraph do not start the same way. For example, if you've said in the first paragraph that Okonko is portrayed, the next paragraph say he is presented as, the other paragraph say he is brought out as, then the other paragraph you can straight away say Okonko is a determined man. Those are different ways to present different paragraphs. Some of you have the same beginning. Okonko is a lazy man. Okonko is this. Okonko is that. So that is what we call monotony. And that kills the quality of the essay. So as you're presenting this in all the books you are doing. So the task I'm going to give you today is to be able, in your own practice time, pick at least 2 to 3 character traits, only 2 to 3. I want you to develop them in such a way that I have presented mine. And then you see for yourself, are you able to reach the quality or reach that point of being able to introduce and explain a point. Pick your main character. For example, in Voice of the People, in Things Fall Apart, in the Pearl, we have already agreed it's Kino. Things Fall Apart, we have agreed it's Okonko. Voice of the People, definitely Nasirumbi. Even Boss is part of those people. You can choose the main one. In Hatsudas, who is your main character? Pick him out or pick her out and definitely give us the character traits. Give us an introduction and those things. However, our time is far eaten away. And if you have any question, we definitely will answer you in the group chat of either WhatsApp, or I'll be able to answer in our Google Classroom. Otherwise, thank you for attending this lesson. It's always a pleasure sharing with all of you.
Thank you for teaching us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for attending.
Thank you, sir. Right.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
Rogers.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, thank you very much. I've also learned something about Okonko.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. Have a nice lunch. Let me end.
okay, bye.
Mm.
Okay, bye.